Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Hero Labs Live. That's an old thumbnail here in the studio. Shout out to me for forgetting to switch that here. We could probably just, fuck it, we'll do it live. Let's see. Yeah. Producer has pivoted away from hosting the Friday stream because I got a new system that can handle it just fine, and that's going to allow me to be on the charts live. Let me see. Get rid of that. And let's just put it in. We should learn this shit. Learn it on the fly. Good to see you guys here. I'm going to switch this in. There's a lot of handy little things that the producer takes care of, and I'm learning them. I got lazy when he was around. Okay, so like that. Oh, yeah, whatever. See, look what I'm working on. I'm like, we're going to put that over there. We'll figure it out. Doesn't matter because we're not going to be in the studio for long today. In fact, delete that. No, that button doesn't work. That's all good. Let's just go ahead and remove that whole monitor. Ready? Magic. All right. Welcome back, guys. Good to see you all on this Friday. I was off last week for a much needed little breather. Naturally, spent a lot of the week looking at the charts anyways. But I was up north. I was away from the hustle and bustle of the daily stuff, and it was good. Felt really good. And I'm back now. Looks like we're a little shaky over on TradingView. So if you are struggling to capture the high quality throughput that we should be creating, fly on over to YouTube. Check us out on Periscope. That's on our Twitter at Real Hero Labs, and Hero Labs on YouTube. All right, guys, let's get into the charts. There's a lot moving today. If you guys are in the Hero Labs Discord, the trading pit, it's free if you didn't know already. And we were in there this morning, talking about a few different coins. A couple that I'm looking at today, Sushi and XRP and DOT. I loaded up my spot DOT this morning. A little late, could have bought a couple bucks cheaper. But I wasn't really looking at it yesterday. But then I thought, what the hell am I doing not just being long on DOT with Polkadot Decoded coming up on the 19th. And bull markets, it's all about eyeballs, right? So once I get my screen share set up here, guys, we are going to flip to that. Let me just do that now. Not very good at doing two things at once, so bear with me. Oh, yeah, we don't. Do we want that? No, we don't want that. Okay, give me a sec here, guys. Screen capture. And edit to window and edit to Chrome and Square. Does Square have no plans? Square has no plans to buy Bitcoin apparently after a $20 million loss. Womp womp. Too bad, so sad. That's not good, but it's also not really bearish. It's like one entity in the world has decided they won't buy any more Bitcoin. Don't know that that's even news. Header footer should be overlaid. There we go. And getting a little bit of feedback on my green screen. Oh, I can fix that. Sorry, guys. I'm just like doing stuff that is hard to do when I'm not live already because I don't see. Spill suppression. There we go. It's not doing it. Solidifying? No. Edge coloring? No, that's definitely not it. Oh, well. Let's just do it. Let's go over here. Let's see Bitcoin. There we go. Let's go look at Ethereum. All right. Is that good? Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. You know what? I usually like to put the little Hero Labs behind me in this so you don't see right through. But, yeah, it's all good. Vacation was good, Fired and Wired. Thank you for that. Thanks for asking. Thanks for caring. It was good. Again, vacation, it's more like a step away from the pressure of deadlines, but the market is the market. And it's almost more stressful given my longer term positions and like whatever, they're longer term, so I shouldn't really care. But yeah, like I've got some size in the market. And obviously, the more the market goes up, the more that size is sizey. The more the little burps in the market. And, every time we dump, it's like, should I be checking for, high time frame, signs of reversal, all that stuff. So week off of time pressure, but never a week off of overnights and whatever, like what's going on in the market. So, but yeah, it was good. It's good. Let's take a look at Ethereum. Really nice pullback the last couple of days. And when I say nice, I say that facetiously. It sucks. It never feels good. But as you can see here on the daily, it's not really, it's fairly inconsequential at this point. There was one chart. This is sort of the matrix I've been looking at today, Sushi, XRP, and Ethereum. Somebody asked a question here in the chat, which I think is something we should always talk about if somebody's wondering. And I think everyone should be wondering what's going on with, hold on. I'm going to refresh my TradingView browser, see if that's fixed. Which I think is something we should always talk. Tell me if you're on TradingView and it's doing what it's doing on my screen, which is like, I don't know that I can fix that live. I may have to reboot it, in which case we'll have to do it next time. So if you are struggling to get the quality on TradingView, just flip over to YouTube, Hxro Labs, Hxro Labs. Love you, TradingView, but we may have to just switch over live today. For the viewers, as you can see, DOT breaking to highs. We're going to talk about that today, what Polkadot encoded, or decoded, I should say. Polkadot decoded means for DOT in a bull market. XRP, the one that a friend of mine is watching, he shared it with me. You know, I don't love XRP as a coin. I'm one of those guys. But I've learned this year to just shut up and trade. I don't need to marry it. I don't need to invest in it. But if it looks ready to go, who am I to say no to a good setup on a very liquid pair? That's one thing I love about XRP. You can get in, you can get out with whatever size you basically want, unless you're like a billionaire and you barely move the book. So I'm starting to appreciate that more and more after trading a few slightly less liquid pairs. And I ape into a position on like FTX perps, for example, on ZRX a couple weeks ago. And then to get out, I had to push the price down like 3 cents if I want to, you know, market close or something. I hate that. You know, if I want in, I want out. I don't want to be the movement in the market. I just want in where I see the market. So love XRP for that. Can't hate. Let's take a look at Ethereum. The question today, where is this? There's the OBV. Okay, what's that all about? It's like not connecting my divergence. There we go. Let's take a look at Ethereum. If you guys follow me on Twitter, I was fairly active yesterday. I'm not always super active on Twitter, like moment to moment of what's happening in the market because I'm doing stuff. But yesterday I was like sitting here on the screens, fairly focused on, you know, stuff to do with the markets, trading actively. If I'm trading like day trading, I'll usually be a lot more active on Twitter. So based on my Twitter activity, you can tell if I'm day trading. Like, oh, there's RT trading the dailies, the intradays. So that's what I was doing yesterday because we had this really sweet dump on ETH. And I say sweet because I like buying dips. So when I get one, it's an opportunity. Whereas like grinding higher is not always like, there's not always a trade there for me. So when I see this dip coming back into sort of this obvious bullish throwback here, and it spiked in, well, it spiked in once last week and then it went to new highs. We're like, holy fuck, that didn't take long. A lot of weakness on this move up. Not a whole lot of rising volume, you know, not breakout stuff. A little bit of a rollover. I wasn't paying attention, so missed any kind of trade there. But then it just failed, bounced up once and failed hard again, as we know. And the Ethereum, you know, some drama this week with the dog coins. We were talking about it on Wednesday on the DeltaFi. So here I was. And of course, at this moment right here, what's that stomach feeling? You know, like you're feeling as a human after seeing this drawdown, which wasn't tiny, especially if you've been enjoying a lot of upside lately. That's a 20% drawdown on your favorite bag if you're an ETH guy. So at this point, when it's, you know, it's plowed down, it comes back to the lows. This is where I like to get long. So you get the big spike down, bounce up, get that little that little reload zone out, and then measure it from here. So I'm following it up, get my magnet up there, and it drops into this reload zone. And that's where I can then get long a lot more carefully because I can risk to that low. I mean, really, after this drop, you don't want to see a low beyond that. That was like a little liquidation cascade, whatever. If we're going below that, I don't really want to be long yet. I want to wait for some more confirmation. So I get long here. I'm risking to this low. I didn't actually see this dump. I was out doing something else around lunch yesterday afternoon. So I didn't get to like add here. And it's probably good I'm not here because like sometimes when you see that break, you're like, oh, historically I have made the mistake once or twice of thinking I'm just going to front run my stop loss and save a few bucks. And then it just, you know, never actually got there. So that's thankful. That's good news. And if you are following me on Twitter, you notice that I pointed out the moment that we got our first higher high on the 15-minute. Now, somebody on my Twitter said, well, by that logic, this was a higher high. And they're right. But I didn't see this happening. And as you can see very quickly in retrospect, it was just a huge sort of short squeeze up, fill the bags, dump it. So I just ignored that. I don't count it. It was nowhere near an area where I'm thinking of a reversal anyways. So once we get down here, now I'm waiting for it, that higher high on all these bounces, right? You're like, was that it? Was that it? Was that it? And the first thing I need to see to tell me that maybe we're done with this little dip, at least, on this particular range, it could go lower still from here, but who knows? I need to see a higher high. So there's your high, lower high, fail. We're not ready yet. And then here, bounce up, down, lower high, fail. Not ready yet. And so I was watching that kind of stuff. And then here is where I was paying really close attention, and we got our higher high. Just like very subtly, this 15-minute closed. And it was weird because I was watching it thinking like, I'll add to my position if that happens. And within seconds of that happening, all the algos on FTX's perp just went crazy and started buying it. And then that's where you get that initial little push up, and then it dipped a bit and, moved around. So the trade for me was this reload zone, and I was thinking, you know what, dip, reload zone, and we'll go. It wasn't as easy as I had thought it would be. It did, it did chop it around a little bit more. The second trade that I didn't take because I was already long would have been waiting, okay, I'm not long yet, but I see this low come in. That's a nice place to risk against. Also next to this low, you can risk against both. And then I'm waiting. Okay, I see that break to new highs here, that little bit of a higher high. It's like, oh shit, we might be looking good. And what do I always say, guys? Once you get that confirmation, you don't have to rush in right there, right? The algos did, and they're probably happy today. Somebody trading that algo, this wouldn't have been their stop loss, presumably. It would have been down here. So that algo adding here wins. Cool. But for me, it's like wait till that little impulse of the breakout finishes, then draw up the reload zone from that. And as it turns out, that was the perfect trade here. And that's why I trade it, right? You get that little move up. You wait, you measure it, sweet spot. And now you're thinking about risk management, and you can get in there with that low, even this low and this low protection if you want for 2.5%, 2.25%. And then all I need to really make that worth it to me is a 3-to-1, which already hit basically at this trend line. But you can even get a 4-to-1. And then, depending on how you want to manage the trade, you can close half when it hits that 3-to-1, which is often what I'll do. I'll just close 50% here. I'll move my stop loss to break even or just above because those stop markets kind of slip. So it's nice to go just above break even. So it's actually break even. And then you just ride it and, get up into the short reload zone. Maybe at this sweet spot, I'm taking another half off. So that's kind of been my action right for the last 24 hours. And that's how you can turn a dip or a dump into an opportunity. And that's why a lot of guys on Twitter, a lot of humans who trade, get excited on dip days because it is an opportunity that, like, even if we're going lower, which I think is very possible. In fact, I wouldn't be shocked at all. Possibly even probable. I don't know. I haven't done my high time frame kind of view today yet. Maybe we'll do it live today. But if we're going to go lower after this kind of thing, especially with that little reversal we saw, it's got to get up into this short reload zone, especially if I'm thinking short. Like even right now, we kind of got up there. Does look a little bit exhausted maybe. I don't know if we'll just get the one spike. I kind of feel like there's more shenanigans going to come. So I didn't rush to like auto short this like I sometimes might have. I was more focused on longing things like Sushi and Dot today. But, if we come in here and then especially if we get up into that, and then there's just like no follow through on volume and the divergence, maybe the RSI only goes up to there. So you've got your bearish divergence, all those things. That's what I'm watching for tonight and this weekend. And if that comes, then I can start thinking about shorts here. Less about like, I don't believe in Ethereum and I think it's going to go down. I want it to go down. None of that. It's more just like I have a fuckload of altcoin exposure and just general crypto exposure. So if I get a really sweet short setup up against the highs on to something like Ethereum that has done incredibly well lately, then that gives me an opportunity to basically hedge out of my positions, make a little money on the way down, not feel like I have to sell things like ID, some other positions of mine that are fairly large. And like, what am I going to sell ID here because Ethereum is going down and maybe they're going to reprice lower for a little bit? I don't think so. So that's kind of my thinking. Now that's an old chart. I want to find, Well, actually, I found this the other. How funny is this? I found this the other day that I must have been charting this like way back around here. All this shit. But it was a fan that I was using back there, and then I zoomed out, and then yesterday randomly I showed up on this chart. Because it's sort of my BTC altcoin trading pair, so I don't look at it for Ethereum USD. But apparently I charted it way back in the day, and oh my God, look at this GAN. Look at this GAN tap. I mean, it makes it a lot easier when you have perspective like that to maybe take a little off of your spot positions here, if nothing else, to just have an opportunity to load if it does play the fan. But trying to figure out where I put that chart, though. I don't know if I can find it today. I had it on my Twitter. Maybe we'll pull it up on Twitter. Tweet. Anyways, it's kind of a thought I have of like how I think Ethereum could play out if we want to get bearish for a little bit, which I'm not convinced, but you know what? Let's be honest. The market, the network is congested. Fees extremely high for a little bit there. And that's, it's sometimes something to be thinking about, concerned about. Don't look for consensus from the audience, from the crowd, if you think, something's going to go down or up. Like, it's never the case where people are bearish at the time you should be shorting. It's just not the way that works. Like, if you go like, what do you think? Do you think it's going down? You're not going to get the answer you want if you're trying to do that. So this is a chart that I put out yesterday. I don't know if I can find it right now. It's just something like this. And this wouldn't be weird at all. In fact, this would be kind of normal. I really want to find it because then I can see how this updated. But basically, yesterday I was just thinking, look, probably squeeze up into here, which is where we are now. Basically went straight up the next day. So that front run even what I was thinking. But and that's normal. You get a huge dump down, a sharp snap back, squeeze the shorts. And let's go back to that. And then, so based on what happens up here, I can risk against the highs. If I get stopped out, I've got my spot exposure to the whole market. So it's kind of like a wash, lose a little bit of, instead of just being permable. Okay. But if we do fail, I don't think we'll stop here again. We may have to go visit. And if you can see back here, there's a really nice structure breakout. We never really got a retest there. We had, where is that? It's like, I'm going to find it. God, I wish I had this chart. 26? 26? Yeah, up here. So we never really had that, right? So when we broke out from this market structure, we had, we had a tap back, like it kind of got tested. It's kind of cleaned up, so to speak. Doesn't need too much more going on. But then once we took off from here, there's been no real retrace until that little pullback. Let's see if that satisfied any kind of pullback targets. Well, kind of front run the pump chaser zone. So that's actually quite bullish. If we continue on from here, that would be really good. Like if we break to new highs after this front run, I'd be like, yeah, definitely looking at something gross like 5K. Something awesome. Now, anyways, on that other chart, my thinking is like, would it be weird to come back and do a little Wyckoff check, clean this up, hit the reload zone, tap along, maybe for a couple weeks? Like that's my gross theory. Like if we have to really do that, that would suck, but it's possible. So that's what I'm watching for here up in this short reload zone, as far as just like, I don't want to rush around and sell a whole bunch of alts if I think that's going to happen. I just want to short ETH. And that'll kind of cover me for all of those altcoin drawdowns that I might experience. I don't know what I'll do if ID breaks down from here. I'm going to be really for two reasons. One, because I really thought I think it's a strong project. I still do. That hasn't changed. But I thought, nice breakout. Let's get into the reload zone. But I know my setup is to wait for reversal, right? Get into this, but it's just a location. So wait for it, breakout volume, and then load up. And I've just been kind of aping a bit. So if it does break down from here, like that's me learning a lesson that I learned way back in the day, eating extra shit, because I didn't wait for essentially what happened here, which was getting into that reload zone and getting the breakout. And then look, like 7 days here to basically load up. So I just got the sneaking suspicion. Let's double check. Oh yeah, no, I'm on the right mic. So anyways, those are all kind of my rants. As far as like Ethereum goes and why I would even dream of, putting on a short position in this market. If it just drops from here, that sucks because it means it's probably more bearish than even I think with that theory. And I missed it. Doubly bad. But if we squeeze up here on bearish divergence with a lack of volume, it's going to be such an easy trade to take. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but if I'm not trading that, given all the other exposure I just talked about, what am I doing here? So I hope it it makes it easy, you know. If it drops straight from here, it didn't make it easy. If it pulls up here on like no divergence and lots of volume, then that's not easy either. And I probably wouldn't even short it because I require divergence and lack of volume to trigger the setup. So I hope that makes sense. Let's check the chat. ID. Yeah. I mean, look, fuck, bro. Like ID fundamentally is why I invested. I didn't invest because it's like that's got the most volume out of any coin, or you know, that's like the sexiest chart. Like it's in a great location for me from an investment point of view. So my time frame needs to be wide, needs to be broad. So for me, it's more like 3 to 6 months. This doesn't look great. I'll admit, you know, getting down here and not having big volume pour in yet, it's not great. But do they have everything that, you know, working for them that I expect to see in the next 90 days, 180 days? Yep. So I've got a bag. I'm not selling it, and it's investment status. So if it goes down and down and down, I'm not going to sell it there either unless something fundamentally changes on the project, in which case I'm just going to have to eat shit, chalk it up as a loss, and move on. But I don't expect that. I do expect everyone to suddenly not give a shit about this project while it's down here doing this. That's kind of how it goes. I get DMs like, guys, are you still bullish on ID? I wasn't bullish on ID because of the chart. I mean, other than the location was great. Still haven't seen the signs of reversal yet. So it is what it is. It's the waiting game. It's supposed to be painful. If you're in a really good position at the really good time, it's usually not feeling very comfortable. For example, having longed Ethereum down here, it did not feel comfortable yesterday. I made the mistake of trying to watch the 5-minute chart for about an hour, and then I just went off my computer. I was like, well, there's no value to me watching it. And it was very uncomfortable. Every like this right here, right into my theoretical fill, because I was already long. I didn't add here. This sucked. Thankfully, I wasn't watching it. I was out. But you know, watching that, seeing your P&L slide, like. And then look today, 12 to 16 to 17% move. That's sizable. So it's not supposed to be comfortable, guys. Boys like the vid. Yeah, like the vid. Hit the like. If you enjoy what I'm doing here, I've got lots more to come. And you know, we're here every Friday, myself, solo, sometimes bring a guest. Wednesdays, we're here with DeltaFi, with Messi and Rob and Dan. So if you guys want, you can smash the like on the video. I'd appreciate it. The SEO, the algos love that. And if you haven't yet and you want to sub to the video, that's the real bread and butter. It's free too. It's great. Let's go check out Sushi. This has been my matrix today. I set up my Sushi chart. You know, why did I like Sushi? Well, Rob talked me into it the other day on stream. You know, not like he was trying to talk me into it, but I was convinced based on what he said. I said, you know, I agree with everything you just said. That, you know, it's strong. And this is the Bitcoin pair. And the reason I looked at the Bitcoin pair is because I had Bitcoin. I bought Bitcoin. We should probably talk about that. I mean, look at this. Just before we get into Sushi, this is the 20-week moving average that I've been tracking in the newsletter for like, a good couple of months now. And basically since I started writing it, and since I was on Ledger's, or Ledger came on here and joined me as a guest in January, and he said, you know what, let's look at that 20-week moving average. I said, yeah, damn, wow. The 2017 bull run, this was always FUD too. You know, actually, I didn't even join crypto by this point, but this was the Bcash fork. It was very ugly. Bitcoin was going to zero potentially, right? The miners might all switch to Bcash and we'll never have Bitcoin again. That was the narrative at the time. Anyone down here buying had balls of steel. It was not a good time to buy according to your emotions, which I had a lot of at the time because I didn't really know charts and I wasn't focused on anything but price. Then September, this was the China bans Bitcoin. This was just a weird week. Maybe people trying to call tops. And then we went on. So there was 2 big entry opportunities for me along the way up during 2017. This could be different this time. This could break through. This could just not give a shit. You know, this could just move around through the moving average. Like there's no rule here, but all through here, people wanted, you know, a lot of people wanting to buy Bitcoin. When should I buy? Is it too late to buy? Is it too late to buy? And all I would say to people is, look, if you're really serious about investing, because a lot of them say that, right? Oh, I don't care if I'm a little late. I'm going to hold it for 2 years. It's like, well, if you're serious about that, then wait for some kind of level that you can at least say I followed a rule, like the 20-week moving average. Because in a bull market, historically, buying anything touching that ends well or ages well. And then if you want to call bear on the market, let's at least trade below and test it from the underside. And then I can think about selling. Like, I can't sell on a tap of the moving average. Imagine that. Imagine being in this bull market, knowing what I know, having just even looked at this chart and say, this is where I want to sell. And yet, how many people feel the need to sell their Bitcoin this week or sometime in the last couple of weeks, right? Trade it away for this, trade it away for that. I'm not bullish on Bitcoin anymore because it's not going up anymore. Well, that market has a remarkable ability to make you look left when you should be looking right. And I was no different. I didn't even look at this till someone on my Twitter is like, hey, did you buy that tag that you talked about? I was like, oh, shit. And I went and looked. I was like, yeah, it came in. So went out and picked a bunch of Bitcoin up. All that to say, that's why I bought Sushi with Bitcoin, because that's what my base pair is now. Because I don't have as much USD. Don't have much USD left. I said in the newsletter, that's where I'm putting all my dry powder in. So I said, okay, man of my word, going in hot. I don't think Bitcoin's done yet. Not on this cycle, not by a long shot. So I bought some Sushi this morning, maybe up around here, 31. And I just thought, fuck it. This volume's coming in. Push up, push up, push up, breakthrough, retest, let's go. Simple as that. It's a spot position. I'm not watching it too closely. I want to give it some time. This looks primed for price discovery. We can, we give it, I don't really use the wicks on these too often. I kind of switch, but yeah, we're pushing through that trend line. I'd feel more comfortable using the candles, in which case it looks even better. So there you go. Smack back down, retest, and break through. So if I'm looking to add to my position, I may wait for a retest of this somewhere, somehow. That looks good to me for like another entry. Maybe even some perp longs. I've been getting into the perp longs a little bit. Today I perped XRP. I'm actually in it right now. We'll see. It looks like it pulled back a little bit here. And, I wouldn't be shocked if the Bitcoin pair needs one more of these before it goes. So not too attached to my perp long today. It's a fairly tight setup. It's kind of like get the hell, shit or get off the pot kind of thing. Because it's a volatile asset and I don't, I wanted to size up. So I'll show you my setup in a little bit on perps. But on the Bitcoin pair, this just looks really bullish. It does. Consolidating. So if it breaks up, I've got a pretty sweet expansion trade up to the fib extension of this previous move. That's what I'll be trading it as. And, I might end up with a little moon bag out of that. It's for now it's a perp trade, but you could also take like an A, B, C, D harmonic, which would take you to like 41. But I'm not actually trading it against Bitcoin yet. If we come down here, maybe even like squeeze out one time and then recoup this little triangle, I may then swap some Bitcoin for it. For now, this is what I'm looking at. Oh yeah, we did come off a little bit. Oh, did I get stopped out? Might have. Live on the air, losing money. Oh, not yet, but we're getting close. So XRP coming off a little bit here. I don't know how great my little setup is, but I decided I actually didn't love it when I looked at it. I was like, okay, we're moving up. I traded it once this morning, kind of long sell, and then reloaded right here, just like messing around on the low time frames, and reloaded here. So, and then I was like, you know what, I really wanted to touch and go. There's a lot of momentum in the market today. It shouldn't be too weak. So I think my stop is there. So might be headed to eat shit, but I'm not going to sell early. It is what it is, measured risk. And that's a question somebody just asked, which we're going to talk a little bit about today. So my setup is something like that. Get to new highs. Yeah, we'll see. So, I almost like a stronger setup, maybe even as like a 2.0 if I do get stopped here, where this throwback here. Putting a reload zone up here is so weak. Ultimately, like, it's not great. Capturing this entire range, and then as you can see here on the more relevant time frame, we're actually kind of right here. So do we get into a, figure out where I want to size it to? Ultimately, it should be down here, but sometimes I'll go here because we kind of got a W breakout there, so I got a new low to work with. And yeah, we have a really nice level right here. So if I'm not going to go change my thing live. It's at a level. I've got my stop. I've got my measurement. But if we come back and test this level, confluent with the 382, it might be a nice little tap. So I thought of that when I set it up. I was like, God, if I'm just going to get stopped out, it's going to be like bink. And then like a day later, it'll be. But we'll see. So that's XRP. Not too much size there. Messing around on the day. Now, well, let's see. DOT. I did take a little size in. And that's a spot position at 41 this morning. So, I'm holding that. And we'll talk about why. We mentioned it on Tuesday. But the DOT thing next week on the 19th, that looks good. And I think I have a better chart of it. Yeah. So look, let's talk about a bull market. Because in the bull market, a lot of this stuff, a lot of what's pumping, what's going up has to do with eyeballs. And that's why you get crazy, stupid shit in 2017 like, oh, new website. 10x, because it's not like the new website made the thing more valuable. The new website drew attention to it. People looked into it. They said, this looks strong. Everything blockchain sounds amazing, right? If they deliver on their promises, they're going to be worth $100 billion. And that's the case for so many projects. And so eyeballs matter. And when you get something like what we've got coming up next week, let's just go see it. When you've got something like this coming up, yeah. Ooh, bright colors. Biggest Polkadot event of the year is almost here. That is on May 19th and 20th. So like next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever. They're going to have, think about it. If you're a blockchain project building on DOT, if you're a DOT related thing, you're going to save your announcements, your excitement, your big drops for something like this. That's your job. That's your duty as a blockchain crypto project, to drop some heat at things like this, which is essentially like the consensus of Polkadot, right? It's their biggest thing of the year. So that's coming up next week. And as that's coming up, you see DOT sitting here at the end of what was basically a 3-month consolidation after a face rip. I mean, not an absolute melter, but like $4 to $40. It's like a 10x for a multi-billion market cap. Not bad. And now we're breaking out 5 days in advance of that. What do people know? Who knows what's coming? People are buying in advance of that, it looks like. And of course, we've got the volume starting to bubble up to make this breakout seem a little more believable. Of course, we've already broken out of this range once, twice, tapped it 3 times. I mean, there's a lot of tests at this level. So I was trying to finesse it maybe a little too much. See, I had here filled some DOT. And I missed it yesterday by a smidge. You can see the smidge right here. Look at that. I put the order in when it was up here, and it missed me by like 40 cents. So I ended up buying at $40 this morning. I was like, fuck it. I'm not going to miss the whole next leg of DOT that I think is very high probability to come with this thing coming up, just because like a 40-cent miss. So I added a good amount of size at $40 today. And, sometimes the market rewards you and just moves right away. But it's got to be at least a 2-week hold for me. I can't change my mind based on like today, tomorrow, next day's price action. Unless it's like a hideous fail and then somebody's like, well, Bitcoin double spend attack, everything's going to zero. Okay. Then maybe I'll sell. Otherwise, it's a 2-week hold for me, at least. And the nice thing is if DOT really moves, and we should probably shout out Kasama while we're here. Let's just do that. Kasama's moving as well. And this is one I haven't really charted or traded. I think I traded it from like, oh my God, like 40 to $60. I bought and sold it and I was like, sweet. That was at a much less exciting time, right? December, January, whatever. I never ended up with a big bag, but whatever. Kasama's breaking new highs today. In fact, it made a new all-time high ever today. And look at this volume. So tell me that's not going up. It is. Almost certainly. Not financial advice. I don't have any. So, for what it's worth, I'm not shilling my bag on this one. It's got to go. And then, you're looking at fib extensions, or at least I am. Maybe like a little chaos from here. Don't know if I see any clean chaos areas. They don't align, so it's not as exciting. Maybe we could draw one here, this little charge up. Mess around with some chaos, and if they align with anything else somewhere, you say, okay, that's a little bit of confluence, but not a whole lot. I think this one's pretty simple for me. I would be looking at the fib extension, because this was like a really clean leg and then a nice little retrace. So let's see what that retrace was. So pump chaser zone, reload zone, pump chaser zone. Beautiful. Clean. So easy in retrospect. But this volume, parachains coming in. Polkadot decoded. Kusama blew up this morning a little bit, and that's actually what reminded me. I was like, holy fuck, I got to get my dot back. It's weird that I don't trade Kusama. I don't know why. I have like an aversion to it, maybe because I didn't buy it at 30 cents or something. But that's a silly way to think of it. I actually never looked up the project too. I just know everyone talks about it being like the thing, maybe even more bullish than DOT. So we'll check it out. You know what else I got today? Sorry guys, we're gonna get to the chat in a sec. I'm on a rant. I'm on a bender for talking. Oh yeah, let's go. I didn't even check this today since I bought it. Okay, so this morning somebody shilled me on Fala on Twitter, and I just looked at this chart. I said, wow. I think it was like here, somewhere around here this morning. And I was like, really? This is a friggin' Polkadot project? And all this volume came in yesterday. And like, based on everything I've just been talking about, I was like, this is the most auto long I've ever seen. So I aped in, fairly sizable amount. What was that? Sometime in here, like 8 a.m., 9 a.m. So fuck yeah, man. Yeah, we're mooning. Let's go. Fala. Don't know what it does, but I know it's Polkadot, and it's one of the stronger ones I've heard, and the chart just looked fabulous. So Fala's moving. That's awesome. I don't know who you are on my Twitter, but you made me some money today. Although I haven't closed it yet, so maybe I haven't made shit. We'll see. Chaos PRZ. And like, I'm not going to close it because there's a conference coming next week. I'm going to let that conference come in. Is it going to be sell the news? Maybe if it rallies like 600% before then, it'll probably be sell the news for me. If it's like consolidating into that event and then they announce something awesome and it takes off, well, I can trail it and ride the storm. This is a really nice consolidation. If you guys know of a better chart than the Bitcoin one on Binance, let me know. But, you know, I look here and I see, okay, we probably got a pretty sweet little chaos target. And you see, like on the last one where I would use the fib extension, this one doesn't really have like a leg one to do a fib extension on. So I'm going to use the chaos to give me a sense of target. And I think I bought around 19 something, just under 2,000, like 1950. So my double is up here. And that's kind of what I want. Because I'm not too familiar with the project, because it's kind of like a catalyst-based long, I'd love to just get out with my money and keep my free bag. I don't really have an attachment to it, you know what I mean? I still have more research to do, so this may change, but for now I'm just thinking like, fuck it, if I can get a double right around 4, I think I already have the order set on Binance actually. If I can get that to hit, then I am risk-free with a big old bag of Fala. So that's the plan. It's always nice to see a breakout on the day that you buy it. So lucky ting. Did you manage to get OX nodes? I did, I think. Yeah, pretty sure I'm in that. Pretty sure my fund is in that pre-sale. I'd have to double check. There's a few of us, so I don't handle every deal. KSM has a lot of bullish catalysts in the next few months. Yep, I've heard that. But not DOT. Yeah. So Lito's on the other side of it. He says, I trade KSM, but not DOT. Look, I got to trade KSM based on everything, you know. Like, I don't know about this exact minute. Like, I'm not much of a breakout trader. Where it's like, oh, it's like overbought on all the low time frames and it's been going up for like 72 hours straight and now I'm going to long it. Like, I suck at that. I really hate doing that. I'm more of like a boring ass trader that'll buy it here and just kind of wait. But I didn't. And so now I'm at that situation where like, well, how do I do it then, right? So that's my issue here. So what would I do to get long on KSM? Probably long from here, but maybe not at this moment. I would risk missing it and do something like that. It's probably the way I would do it. I really should look up Kusama. You know, I have a pretty loose idea of like why DOT is so badass. No idea why Kusama is. So I should probably just do like a good old white paper read through. I trade KSM. Oh, yeah, it's because everything's going to Kusama before DOT. Okay, so Kusama is almost like a layer before DOT. That's kind of interesting news to me. But I did I did see it as this like infrastructural part of. Oh, okay. See, that I didn't know. Buying KSM for parachains. Fala needed 150,000 KSM, 1.5 supply, only 3 million left in the market cap. Wow. 100 parachains being auctioned. Yeah, so I knew about the 100 parachains. I thought you had to buy DOT for that because I spoke to some projects earlier this year that said they need a whole bunch of DOT. And they're doing like basically whatever they call those, like parachain lease auctions or something. And then they have to raise DOT to buy them. Yes, Shillpill did mention Fala, and it was on my short list already from him, but I got like 7 or 8 picks from him. And then someone on my Twitter said about Fala, and I saw that chart, and I was like, boom, I'm buying it. So that's why I ended up there. Big shout out to Shillpill, man. Guy's a legend. Really, really hot picks at Shillpill. Is it at _Shillpill on Twitter? I don't know. Somebody post his Twitter in the chat if you haven't already. He's a good buddy of mine, and he's just always talking about the right things before. He's the one that told me about Polkadot Decoded. It's not like I went and found that alpha. That's just, a lot of the things I share I collect from my circles, and he's often behind a lot of my ideas. Smart guy. You will for the DOT parachains, but KSM parachains are first. Okay, so that's why. So yeah, so maybe I need to learn. Is Kusama's a whole other thing with its own parachains? I don't know. I still haven't wrapped my whole head around the ecosystem of this. But I know they're both bullish. I know they're both breaking out on volume, and sometimes life is as simple as just focusing on the charts for me. I do really like to understand the tech, but more importantly, I want to understand the technicals, and they're so fucking bullish for these. I mean, God, of all the breakout trades to ever make, like, this is probably one that I should just ape in a little bit of KSM, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens after the stream. Might have a couple of pops tonight, and then a little bit more rule breaky. Let's check in on XRP. Oh, XRP bounced before my stop loss. That's exciting. So yeah, we'll see how that ages. Let's get into a few other charts, guys. We are quarter of the way left in the show, 3/4 of the way through the hour. It's a beautiful day out, so I might actually have to get outside at some point. May keep it too close to an hour, but what else can we look at here? That's kind of like my opener for today done. We got sushi. Bitcoin, Bitcoin has just been, like looking back, obviously, had I just been focused on Bitcoin a little more, I mean, this has been really friendly trading for a guy like me with the fib stuff. So we break out to new highs, come back in. It's like, oh yeah, we might have to go visit the range, fill in this VPVR. You guys know I've been talking a bit about that and this whole double distribution. So it seemed like this was creating a sense of gravity. And then as we broke up to here, higher high, higher high, higher high, all on bearish divergence. The RSI was just like falling as that happened. I don't know if you guys can see it at the bottom of the screen here. But yeah, basically on all those higher highs, this is what the RSI was doing. It was just like internally, the strength was not there. And then sure enough, falls in, basically retests it to a T at the 618 here, and then just boom. And you can blame Elon and you can blame this and that, but this was technically weak as fuck all over that. And so almost like all it takes is a little nudge at that point. It's like a little bit of bad news, and then suddenly it's donezo. So yeah, I not surprised at all to see Bitcoin tumble back into this range. I was maybe a little surprised at the depth of it, like straight out all the way down to this 88.6 to a T. Shout out to the fibs doing their job. And then same thing, right? Bounce back up. I'm not trying to buy daggers here and, eat shit on that. But once we bounce back up, I now have a frame for where I might look to enter, and go figure, there's that sweet spot. So there you go. 40, 46. And this is actually exactly how the Bitcoin bottom came in March 2020. Now, I'm not saying that this is the bottom, but March 2020, when we had the big stupid dump and then a bounce up, it came in and tagged the sweet spot to within like $4. Like it went $4 past it. So anyone buying that sweet spot got paid at maximum risk reward. And you could say, risk into lows, or you're just fucking, dollar cost averaging. It's all good. So we're down in a reload zone, bounced out of this. And yeah, so I'm kind of back into Bitcoin heavy with altcoins. not so much cash heavy, and that is risky. On the lower time frames, we haven't confirmed a reversal yet. We've just kind of like, we're in a zone where I told myself I will buy if we go there. Now we're here, so I can't just change my tune because I feel bearish because things are not that strong this second. So here's your 20-week moving average. Here's where I said I would buy a lot of Bitcoin, and now I have some. It's kind of that simple. Trying to stick to my guns. I have a habit of rotating my ideas as the market moves, and that's not really the best way to trade or invest. So if this is a bad place to buy, I mean, it's not perfect, right? Down here in reload zones on high time frames was perfect, even though at the time, a lot of smart traders I know were still a little gun shy. But like, yeah, through these kinds of things, cool. But that's in the past now. So do I want to wait for a reload zone on Bitcoin? Not really. Do I want to wait for this 20-week moving average? Well, I've been waiting since September, and it finally came. Okay, so basically the canary protocol, get all the bugs out for DOT. Okay, that's a really good analogy. Blade Runner, appreciate that. Help me wrap my head. Yeah, at @shill_pill, that's a buddy of mine on Twitter. Highly recommend to follow. He loves to play in the mud, get into those nitty-gritty shitcoins, but he also gets these really good ideas around just movements in the market, themes in the market. And so he's all bullish on DOT and DOT projects right now as the next wave. And why not? We started the year off with Polkadot being the hype, and it's just been moving sideways for 2 months, and now it's got its conference. I digress. It's a great fucking idea. EWT pumped heavy on BTC dump. It's a Polkadot parachain. Really? EWT is? Oh, hopefully it's not up too much. I had some. So it's an energy web token. I had some and got rid of it. Oh, shoot. Yeah, look at that. So this is what I was thinking. You can see here. Let's go look at the daily. This is kind of what I had pegged. It still might be in play. Let's go look. Because I'm just thinking like, you know, break up off the bottom, rising volume on the buy side ever since like the first time since the top. So I figure, okay, bottom's probably in. And then you look at this huge gap on the VPVR. You know, that is just like nature saying this requires, it's almost like reverse gravity. It's like this requires exploration. And then of course, you know, moving sideways. I bought here on this breakout retest of this trend line. I bought some, and I honestly, somewhere through here, I just sold it on mostly on boredom. I just thought, it's like lowish volume, not moving too much. But now you're telling me it's a Polkadot project. It did just catch a nice move. I mean, this is a red candle, but it looks like it really did break hard and then just got smacked down at the end. So let's see if we can find some bullish candles in there. Yeah, look at that. The 4 hour was green. So maybe now, even though I might be buying back a little higher than I sold, I also have way less opportunity cost because it's kind of moving now. And it's parked in the pump chaser zone. Yeah. Oof. I just moved some funds off KuCoin yesterday too. Oh well. One transaction. You ever get like exchange lazy where you're like Huobi? I do this with Huobi all the time because I don't really trade there, but I have an account. And then I'll see a coin like Nexo and I'm like, oh, I want to get some. Oh, but it's on Huobi. It's like, dude, one transaction. Just withdraw from an exchange and move it to the other. And I don't, because of that exchange laziness. I don't know what's up with that. So I think with this one, I can skip the laziness and just, you know, I need to go back and buy exactly what I owned before, because now we've got a big blast on buy volume, some catalyst clearly brewing. And now we've dipped into the reload zone, or the pump chaser zone rather. And I bet actually, ooh, let's look here. Maybe I can get a little reload zone off the local price action. Look at that, 618. So yeah, great shout on EWT. It's already one that technically I was bullish on for the chart, and now it's like, ooh, you skipped that whole month and a half waiting. I can maybe go get my position back without having too much of a premium baked in, and way less time spent waiting since it looks like it's ready to go. EWP, yeah, okay. Matic Chaos, please. Oh God, Matic is so good. Stings, because you guys remember from DeltaFi, I called it every week for 4 weeks. Everyone's like, what's your coin of the week? I was like, fucking Matic, it's so good. And I traded it well, and it's probably one of my best trades of the year, but I don't have any anymore. At one point, I took the last, what was maybe my moon bag, and I rotated it into something. Couldn't tell you what, but I don't think it's been this fun. And I feel bad because now exactly what I said was going to happen, is now I'm hearing people shill their thing. Like when they pivoted to Polygon back whenever that was, like somewhere in here, and it popped that day. And then I was reading up on it, I was like, God, these guys are like a Polkadot Atom kind of level now, like this ETH scaling. Like you could basically just play on ETH through Matic and it'll be better. So they're going to capture so much of Ethereum's network value. It's blah, blah, blah. And I was so bullish on that. I was like, I can just hear people shilling me on that at any amount. Like even at $1, they'll be like, oh, but it's still so undervalued. I said all that and I thought all that. Oh, so Matic stings. Okay, sorry, I'm ranting about my own. So early sell. And even like last week here, I was like, it's probably still a good buy. I was thinking in my head, but I don't know. Let's check chaos. Ooh, getting close. Ooh, didn't hit it yet, but from this consolidation, which is a really nice clean one, we've got a clear cut low, a clear cut high. I know some guys who like to draw it like that. And apparently the market didn't mind that level either. Tapped it beautifully and then dropped back. So you can see how a lot of these get plays. So it's almost like like witchcraft. It was like, well, it's like trickery because you can draw them 5 ways and like one candle will hit each 5 or something. There's no perfect way. But look at this. Like I still remember 2019. Like this was a massive dump. Do you guys remember that? Look at the friggin' market right now. Oh my God. Remember in 2019, we were all starving for gains and Matic took over the leaderboard for like weeks and everyone got so maniac about it and then it nuked the whole world. Overnight too, the poor team wakes up, they're like getting accused of all kinds of shit. They're like, I don't know what happened, but I just lost 80% of my net worth too. And then you just zoom out now and it's like, wait, what? What was that anthill you plebs are speaking of? Look at me now. Very exciting. Yeah. I mean, fuck, dude. It was a good trade. I'm not too sad about it. Obviously, a little bit. But you know what's funny? True story. I was looking at this, and I've done this. I'll do this all the time. I'm a trader. Don't always end up living in a position, and then some that I close don't end up well, and some that I close moon. But then I was thinking about it yesterday. I was like, oh, man, like next time I have something that I feel that way about, I'm going to ape in and have conviction and hold. Well, that's ID. That's ID for me. So, when I was feeling sad about Matic the other day, I was like, fuck it. And I went and bought more ID. I did go over ID briefly. Basically, it just looks like shit right now. It's in the reload zone. I think if you want to be really cautious, you can wait for signs of reversal because this could go on for a month or two. In fact, I kind of expect it to after you get like even here, this felt like a long time. People were like getting really itchy. It was only like 2 weeks. I don't know how long it's going to last down here. But I'll tell the same thing. Like I just kind of buy at the level that, I'm bullish on. It's not taking up most of my account. It's taking up an amount that it's my biggest position, but it's like, I'm just kind of ignoring it for better or worse. Now, if you really want to be cheeky, you can zoom in and let it consolidate here as long as you want and wait for a breakout and wait for some volume. Then you're like, oh, okay, now it's more, sure that it's going to reverse. Right now, it's just coming down. So if you don't want to be a big ape like me and buy here 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 and buy here, then you can wait. I've been kind of just front running it and buying it and chilling because I'm pretty good. I have a pretty good vibe about it. And here's the interesting thing. People are like, well, how high do you think it'll go? I don't know. How long do you think it'll take? I don't know. All I know. So I think my average entry is like 70 cents. So all I know is that to get a free position forever for whatever bull run may come, I just need to get that movement. If I can capture that move, whenever that comes, and if I wanted to, I could close half my position there and I get a free position. Now I'm risk-free in a bag that I think has got some really nice long-term potential. And so if somebody looks at this and they say, well, I don't think it can get there, I'll be like, well, that's fucking crazy. You don't think it can get here? I think that's a gimme at some point. As always, the question, especially at these levels, people say, well, but what if it goes here? That's minus 6 cents. They're going to owe me money. But what if it goes, wherever? Like there's a lot of room between 50 cents and 0. So, you know, who knows? All I know is reload zones. Generally on something I'm really bullish on, I just like to buy. It's a good value area. So that's it. Big fan of the Bob. Big fan of the Stefan C. What's up, bro? Can you do TrustSwap? Yeah, let's check out TrustSwap. One of my favorite DeFi tokens. I don't talk about it a lot because I don't have my initial bag anymore, and it's another one of those soft spots for me. Because I'm super bullish on it. We had Jeff, the founder, on the show back here, I think when it was at $1 in January. Yeah, first show of the year on January, he came on talking all kinds of crap about beautiful things that he's building over there. And I said to him, you know, I can't buy here while you're on the show. It's pumping. But I can buy the reload zone. And I didn't. I think I actually did. I like aped in, aped out like an idiot. So, yeah. And then this is where Wall Street Bets basically gave them a shout on Twitter during all the GME saga. What a sick signal. Ooh. That was actually the same thing on XRP. It did that at the lows. And then after, WSIB called it out. And then 2-3 weeks later, it just went ham. So let's take a look. I don't know if that's what you were asking for. RT, honestly, your life story was not what I was asking for. Let's go take a look at the Fib extension. The Fibonacci extension. Let's give it a reversal. Let's give it a lefty. And that's kind of what a big fat listing or big fat news event or next leg up could look like. Pie in the sky for you there. Let's see this consolidation. Let's see what the chaos says about this whole thing. That'll be exciting because this should be in play now that we've broken out from that. Ooh, we've got a zone now. So you guys know on Twitter, if you follow my charts there, I like to sometimes just draw a zone between this. And I'll say, if you like these targets, if this is kind of how you look at the market, then this is a zone. And then you can kind of pick your poison. Where in that zone do you, you know, that's probably like if we break higher, that's typically where I would expect, you know, just say we get up there. It's like, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like that's where you could see some of that. Or maybe just, definitely not. Too much value baked into this thing, man. This thing, so good. They've just built such a good thing. Now let's turbo back to reload zone. And give it a little color. Yeah, wow, we just tapped like a local up here sweet spot. So this actually might be a place for me to just get a little bit of my spot back. If I really want to overanalyze, I'll say we're out of resistance, bearish retest, get out. But more than likely, I like this level as a, you know, really improperly drawn trend line there. Whoa, look at that. I made it fit. So, yeah, we could see that. In which case, probably looking at like somewhere early to mid-June. Usually with these kinds of consolidations, if you want to call this legit, usually you end up with like around 70, 75% towards the apex before it breaks out, before you can expect to see that. And there's also this view where you had a trend line moving up, you had a trend line moving up, and you had a trend line moving up, and then it broke, retested, and now is just going down. So the ugly view, I guess, because I want to be objective, is like this. And yeah. So from an investment point of view, I'd be looking at it more like that. And then it's like and if we're ever down here again, oh buddy, wow, that's ugly. If we're ever down in this reload zone again, that is where I will legit ape back in fully for more of an investment point of view. Not saying we're going there. You guys saw my previous setup. It's already in its own little reload zone. So could be that. Neo. Yeah. Yeah, I saw you mention Neo before. I didn't see you, but yeah, I saw Neo. Let's check out Neo. Sorry, bro. Appreciate the caps. Feel like you're yelling at me, bro. But it worked, so can't fault you. I think I actually have a Neo chart. And I didn't long it, but man, did it look good. Talked about it back here. God, down to 800-900. It's like $50. So Neo's looking good. Let's see. I mean, fuck. We should give it the weekly. Let's see if NEO is looking good on the highest time frames. Kind of. I mean, not a significant change in volume. Interestingly, this thing was just kind of like all the way across the board. You know, it's a little sexier when you see volume die, and then it's like, whoa, 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 and then you're like, okay, we're really going to take off. That doesn't mean it doesn't look good. It's just a quick observation. I think it looks pretty good, man. Looks pretty good. From here, let's see. I think we're at a chaos level. Kind of. Which is a good take profit one. If you traded it out of this bottom formation, you pay yourself. Somebody did. Boom. Somebody did. Boop. But it's not going away, right? Could have fell here and gone right down to retest. It did not. So that's a good sign. I mean, and it makes sense because it's at, let's see. Is that this resistance here? Kind of. You know, it's not too clean here. Like there's resistance, resistance, resistance. I'd say there's a level here though. Big support, blasted through, big support, 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 resistance, resistance, front run resistance. And then we just tag this level again. So it should be red to denote resistance. And from here, yeah, I don't know, it just looks good. I don't know what else to say, except for perhaps a fib extension would aid us in our next targeting. That's right up here around the 88.7, so, or 877. So I might give that as like next leg target, which is really good. What is this one saying? Yeah, I think that's when I was looking at it. Shit, I was like, oh, I'm gonna wait for this breakout retest. I didn't. That's the thing. I had too many coins in the world. Too many coins, not enough time. And there's more important things in the world than catching every fucking move, right? But NEO looks good. Let's see what the weekly says against US dollars. Oh my God. Like, look at this, just like inverse Bart Simpson going on in the market on so many coins. Like, can you imagine telling somebody like during this deep, dark depression that was 2018, 2019, and then through this, that like if they just waited a year, they'd just be right back up? They'd be like, you're an idiot. Crypto's dead. Whoa. That's refreshing to see. God, we were right. We were right all along. We were in the right market. Now we're getting paid. So that's really good to see. And I think, I guess we could take a little chaos here. Oh, smacked it. So that's cool. Not quite actually. Front run. Who's been front running my chaos? By like 140, like $1. It's close enough. So yeah, NEO looks great. And if you're like NEO, you got to look at ONT, which is one that I've been looking at a lot this year. Also looks great. So this is what I was talking about, volume. Holy shit. So remember what I said on the start of the NEO thing that you kind of don't, like, it's less sexy to just see consistent volume across the board. I want to see like a storm brewing. And you can see here a storm brewing. Like, look at that. That's incredible. It's like, oh, look, nobody really cared about ONT. What? Waking up. What? Whoa. And that's volume. God, ONT looks good. Ugh. I had a bag. Don't anymore. And that's why I had the bag. But traded myself out of this one too. Oh well. Sounds like if you listen to me long enough, you'll be convinced I don't actually hold any crypto, but I swear I do own some. This volume on ONT looks insane. So if you're bullish on NEO, get bullish on ONT. Because this one, yeah, you can see I've been trading it. These were meant to be somewhat different though. It's not where this is not where my targets were. It was 1, 2, 3. Somewhere on my Twitter you will find this, I think. So that was my thinking about this. And don't ignore those stop losses. I don't know why these got all weird. Got all puny. It was down here or something. anyways, so that's sort of my thinking on ONT. It's going really well so far. And I don't see any reason why it's going to stop. So there, I said it. I don't know what I said. Life story or not. There you go. Can you check out Woo? Yeah, let's check out Woo. I like the Woo. Do you guys remember when we were talking about the big dump? I forget what episode it was. And I talked myself into rotating out of Razor to Woo. Well, whoever brought up Woo that day, thank you, because that was a great idea. And it was here. It was like 70 cents, 75 cents when I got it. And I just was like, why sit in Razor? I had a heavy bag. It was underwater. Got dumped. And I was like, I'm not one to like sell a loss to buy a rally, but like this was just on a throwback. Nice volume coming in. And so that Woo is up 63%. And I know you want to look at Woo, but I'm going to go and look at Razor because this is a good like journal moment as far as like trading. Like there are times to maybe rotate when you just know you're in the wrong bag. And I think it was 32 cents that I ended up capitulating it at. And the nice thing about Uniswap is you can FOMO into a bag and capitulate a bag in one trade. Swap direct. 28% down. So instead of sitting on a 28% loss from what was already underwater, I'm now sitting on a 63% gain, presumably close to back to even on the initial sort of Razor entry. So that worked out really well. And it's just a good lesson to not be stubborn, to let the market tell you new information, to not get stuck in one P&L and just be like, oh, I'm underwater. I need this to recover here. What we did on the show, and I very much mean we because it was your guys' idea kind of to look at Woo and to talk about how shitty Razor was. What we did is we found a fairly good reason to swap from one kind of breaking down chart that maybe Razor is going to be bullish later, but it might be 6 months. There was no signs of buyers. It's like, fuck it. So I swapped it over here. Bulb's your uncle. It's looking good. And and this is like not a fully accelerated trend yet. In fact, Woo looks sleepy right now in a trending sense. Like it looks great, but it's like, ooh, it's not parabolic at all. And these trends, however this is going to go, they tend to accelerate. Whatever that looks like. I'm not calling that as the future of that, but trends tend to accelerate and end in something that's terrible. End in something that represents like verticalness, and then they just shit out for a bit, and then that bottoming will usually end in some kind of, capitulate the other way. So it's exciting. Yeah, Woo looks great. Woo looks great, and I'm a fan. Razor bag dumped. Yeah, Steph. Mine too. I don't have a Razor bag. I rotated it into Woo pretty much live on the air. I waited till just after the show, and then I just went bam, straight over to Woo. Sol will be massive. Yep, big fan. Anything wrong with Razor, though, or just FUD? Maybe it's a good buy now. You know what? Look, that's a good point. We'll talk about that briefly. I know that kind of thinking where you're like, I'm still bullish on the whole project, blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's just FUD. And so my thinking was, and this is why I'm not in Razor right now, is like, yeah, maybe all those things are true. And, fully decentralized Oracle plays getting a nice bid right now. Obviously Link going to new all-time highs. And so, but then it's like, there's nobody buying this right now. And when people start buying it, I can buy it then. I always say you want to get long with the smart money. You want to get long with the whale who has shown themselves on the chart with buy volume, like we saw in ONT a few minutes ago. You see big buy volume coming in, and maybe price did move up a little, so you didn't hit the bottom, but at least you're like, oh, like big money's coming in. Those guys protect their levels, right? ONT, when this buy volume started coming in, that's when I got excited, right? You come off the bottom here, you get a breakout, huge buy volume. So any dips after that look good to buy. And how did those age, right? If you zoom in here, once it broke out of that level, any level, like anything touching here is like, wow, fuck, there's some huge money. Like this is not like 100K. This is like millions and millions and millions of dollars, people putting money in there. Who, you ask? The kind of guys who don't like losing money. So if it comes back down here, they're probably just buying more, protecting their entry, and insist, buying it. Sell me all you want at this level because I'm buying it all because I'm a millionaire. That's the kind of guys you want in your coin at your level. I don't see them on Razor at all. Period. So can it moon later? Is it just FUD? Is it going to... I don't know. I don't care. Those questions are a distraction from what's important. And I am a little bit of a hypocrite because I also don't quite see that yet on ID. But I saw it here. We spotted Alameda's wallets loading up. I should go check their wallets. I doubt they're selling. They don't strike me as like a 2-week party kind of group. And so that was my thinking on this as well. And the last high came in on the highest volume. So I don't see this being the top. So a little bit of hypocritical because I don't see that exactly on ID. But I got a big ID position. I'm not rotating out of that on 2 to 3 weeks of shit. Again, break to new lows. Major fundamental shift in what they're doing. I'll revisit it then. For now, just holding it. NAFT launched today. NAFTR. This is an interesting little NFT project. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on this one. I think it's up quite a bit from its pre-sale price and all that. I mean, God, 13,000% on the day. Maybe let it cool off, but it's a cool looking project. So I'm going to be watching NAFTR. I aped into a little bit right here. Probably looking to sell half on a double for that bag. I don't know if I already got the double while we were live. Yep, somewhere in there maybe. Too bad. Oh well. But I will be securing a free bag of this if I can at some point. Otherwise, just launched today. This is like a 3-minute chart. So, I mean, if you look at the 4-hour, clearly we've got some time to think about waiting for patterns and setups. I just happened to notice it go live quite quickly, like early on. Missed that. And so I saw this consolidation. I was like, fuck it. I'm going to ape in. Get some money on PancakeSwap. So that's that. And that's why it's up there. Let's take a quick, okay, PRZ on curve, guys. We're going to cut it off there because it is getting late. My throat, my voice, everything fading. And it's such a goddamn nice day out. I'm going to go outside. But let's take a look at CRV. Usually save up a few interesting ideas to share with you at the end. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Do we get paid per minute of viewing? I don't think so. Do what you got to do, baby. Look at this. Yeah, so... market looks so good. It's really hard. I talked earlier about like, oh, maybe I'm going to short ETH up here. It's really hard to call tops on a lot of coins. ETH looks really good, period. But if it shows weakness, like I said, maybe I'm looking for a short over the weekend, next week, whatever. Bitcoin, yeah, but like this coin, independent of everything else, like DOT, Kusama, Sushi, this all just look like they want another leg. I don't know why I'm drawing trend lines manually. But however you want to draw this, I don't even, you know what? I don't even want to do that. Diagonals. I much prefer horizontals. We've got a clean horizontal here. It is resistance right now. But what did we see that gives us a hint that the next leg is coming? And that's the buy volume, guys. Don't ignore buy volume. We just talked about it with the way, smart money, big money. These are the people who decide where the price is going to go. And look what happened after this big breakout in volume. Buying it that day, not that exciting. You stared at it for an entire day and an entire other day, and it barely moved. That's 48 hours, it barely moved. But over the next 4 weeks, it went up 350%. Because smart money moves the market. Big smart money. So is that who this was? Or was there an announcement? So that's just a whole bunch of dumb money piling in an announcement? I don't know. Wasn't paying attention. Tell you this. Curve looks ready to explode. It just does. So I'm glad we ended on something like this. Because this is like a fairly actionable coin. In the sense that it's still in a pretty decent buy location. Not on like the grander scale. Love to get in down here against the lows. Like a reload zone. But I don't anticipate, the next trade being down here. Maybe someday we hit something like that from a higher level, whatever. But the next trade here is likely going to be a breakout trade. So that's a really sexy chart. And then it's like a question of, well, does it give us a chance to get in cleanly? Or do we just have to kind of like ape here? Start risking to that low, or risking all the way down here, or just not managing risk and getting wrecked, guaranteed long term? Don't do that. But yeah, oof, looks good. And you didn't ask for all that. You asked for a chaos PRZ. Let's give the man what he asked for. Off the lows we got here. we got here. So, you can see it kind of got its play through here. Bit of a trend line, if you will, a horizontal trend line. A little bit of gravity. I'll tell you what, because of this leg, just like Kusama, I'd actually probably be more of like a fib extension guy for the next leg in this case. And that gives us up here, gives us a nice little pocket to work with the other one. So this is a really nice pocket to think about if I want to be a trader. If I want to be an investor and I want this thing to be $50 and I want to hold it the whole way, well, then I'm not taking profit here. But if I want to be a trader trading this breakout, this is where I start to get a little bit payy with myself. Paying myself for the hard work. Let's go see this. What? No. So not too clean. This is a bit of a gross consolidation. It's not like a nice tight clean range like DOT, but you can see the fib extension. You can see the original chaos up here. So I would not be shocked at all if in a few weeks we're talking about, man, remember when CRV? And then it's like, whoa, whatever it's going to be from there. So let's stay tuned for Curve. I hear they've got a whole bunch of TVL and DeFi cool stuff. We did talk, there's also resistance here. Probably. Look at that. Oh, lining up very nice. So, yeah, I watched Borat 2 the other day, guys, so you have to excuse the odd Borat moment that I have. It's just so pleasant and silly and fun. Let's see what Bitcoin does. I would be shocked if we just dump more from here. I think this is a consolidation, bounce, squeeze, back up move time coming. And this, oh my God, this is a summary look through the charts. If ETH breaks new highs, I'll be looking up to 4,850 for my next area of interest. Zoom out to my matrix, and we'll see that XRP, I don't think it's topped me out. Let's go check. I know everyone's dying to know. Oh my God. You guys want to see how close? Let's see. I don't even know how to share that quick. Oh God, I'm probably going to get stopped out here. Okay, so my stop loss is 13784 and the market load at 1378425. So I just missed a stop getting hit by 25 thousandths of a cent. That's pretty cool. So shout out to whoever had a bid at that level and protected me from a market stop cascade. So that's cool. It does look like shit though. I don't know. The exact little setup that I had, but my stop loss didn't break. So maybe I should just stick to my guns and stop trying to overthink it. But at this point, I really prefer this level. So this little bounce up is probably just saying, hey, look, you can have a cheap exit here. Because this does not look like what I signed up for. Really what I wanted to see was, maybe a little dip in here and then nuke it north. But at this point, no buy volume. They seem to all have backed off. Save like half my money here. Yeah, we'll see. I'm not going to make the decision on stream. It's usually a bad idea. But I really like this 382. So, I'll have to go take a look at that right after the stream. Jonesy, welcome back, man. The holiday was good. Dude, we're wrapping up. I hope you didn't just get here at 4. We are kind of live at 3 now. We could switch to 4, but Fridays, it's kind of nice to get out the door from work a little earlier. This is still work, even though I enjoy the shit out of it. Curve is going to fuck. Yeah, I agree. Curve looks delicious. RT, did you check Alpha by any chance? Oh, oof, I didn't. And I want to end, but let's do it. I want to wrap up so I can go capitulate my XRP. That's actually an insanely close tag. I think that the closest a stop loss has ever come to getting hit. Well, let's go get Alpha. Alpha USD. Yeah, we talked a little bit about this the other day and how breaking out of that level, was it the Bitcoin chart? I think it was. It was over here. Yeah, so this is kind of my thoughts on Alpha when we were on DeltaFi. Really nice level here. Now it should be support. So if we ever come and visit this level, that's like an interesting level for me to be thinking about longing. Whether that's over here on June 9th, apparently, is where I thought it would be, but that's more for just like levels. So yeah, really nice breakout on alpha. Nice climbing volume 2 days in a row now, so less of an anomaly. So any retest of the 38 to 40, well, 38, 39, 100 sats. Really interesting opportunity here for alpha bulls. I think I could get extra fibby, which I often do. And look at that. It's right on the pump chaser zone, 382. So yeah, really like that level. Alpha. Okay, I'm going to cross off a couple names that are less exciting. I'm going to add KSM. What were the other ones? EWT. I don't have the producer here today, so I can't be like, Johnson, write down this. We're going to buy it. EWT. And then there was one other. Again, we just charted it, didn't we? I don't know. Gosh, what did we just chart, guys? Help me out. Help an old man out. Head's exploding. Curve. God, Curve looks good. So running out of funds, trying to be long. But I loaded up on Bitcoin. You know, my base portfolio is now back into Bitcoin. Some ETH, obviously. And so rather than buying up these with USD, I got to go find their BTC pairs, which Alpha is. And Sushi was. And that's going to be how I trade these. And I think it's... I'm excited, guys. You know, after that little bit of bearish throwbackness we had, it was almost like, okay, you know, maybe time to rotate out of Ethereum and let the other guys play. And that's exactly what we're seeing today. So whether it persists or not, we are sitting in a situation where, let me flip back to the studio for my closing rant. We're in a situation right now where the market is showing us all kinds of bullish setups. You never know. Oh, God. Okay, I just looked over the TradingView chat. Guys are yelling at me about checking things. Dude, I'm sorry. I don't do crypto or stocks. NAS 100 sounds like a stock market thing. What do you think? BTC go up or down? I think up. Short answer. Could go anywhere. But anyways, yeah, we're in a situation where as a trader, I need to put my capital at risk when I think I have an edge, when I think there is a higher probability it'll go my way versus against me. And based on everything we just looked at, you guys brought some real fire in today. Alpha, CRV, KSM, Sushi, EWT, DOT, they all look good. Some already broke out today. Some may be breaking out soon. And month over month, you don't get these situations very often. I mean, yeah, like, okay, Sushi's already broken out. But this is a large consolidation. Looking at a chart thinking you guys are too. You're not seeing the chart. But like we're seeing... like a multi-month sideways break from things like DOT, KSM, Curve, Sushi, Alpha. Like those don't usually last a day. So yes, things might be up 10, 20% today. I have to check. But like whatever dip comes in the next few days, if we can get one back, those are big opportunities for me. Whether or not they end up paying me, whether or not they end up stopping me out and we just shit the bed and everything sucks. I have to take my risks at those moments because like we said with DOT, I mean, what have we been waiting like 3 months now? 3 months of sideways and it breaks out on volume and it's like, I don't want to be part of that. Then for next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 40 weeks, you know, whatever it is that DOT ever comes back down to $40, I miss all of that. You know, if I'm sleeping this week or if I'm playing the bear or waiting for some guy on Twitter to tell me Bitcoin looks bullish again, fuck that. I'm telling you, this stuff looks really bullish and doesn't matter. You should still manage risk. You know, 1% of my portfolio will be at risk on any one of these coins, maybe 2, maybe 3, never more than that. And so with that, guys, I'm going to wish you all a wonderful happy birthday. This is where, did I just wish you guys a happy birthday? Jesus. I need a drink. This is where I wish I had like my sports desk papers. With that, we're going to wrap up today. If it is your birthday, I hope it's happy. If it is your weekend, well, it's everybody's birthday. So enjoy the weekend, guys. Whatever you do, have a wonderful... Stefan liked it. Have a wonderful weekend, guys. And whatever you do between now and the next time you hear from me, always play from a position of strength. Manage risk. Take care, guys.